Before we start this video, we'd just like to make it perfectly clear that 2020 has certainly been a weird year for everyone. There's no getting around that. And of course, companies are going to be affected just like everyone else was. But we do think Nintendo's way of handling it is really weird, and that's pretty much what this video is going to be about.
Yeah, especially when they announced their last Nintendo Direct midnight at midnight, and it was for a little partner showcase. I
Yeah,
I just look, Nintendo's been really weird with their PR stuff in the past year, I'd say, and you and I have picked up on this since last year. And to say that it's gotten better, would not be true. I actually think it's gotten worse. And I think my main issue is that they have a really big PR problem.
yeah, the PR is really weird, especially this year, because I really don't get it. They did fine in 2017. I think they did okay in 2018, and they did fine in 2019, but this year in particular, they've been really weird about it. They announced a Nintendo Direct at midnight, like you said, that was very, very weird. I don't think they tweet past a
Yeah,
certain time, do they? Yeah,
they
and they just
don't, and it makes me feel like what confuses me the most is that um th- they keep flip-flopping around with what's going on. Like you and I probably both know that this has affected Nintendo tremendously, but they keep flip-flopping back and forth saying, "Oh, all of our games will be announced. All of the games that are supposed to come out for this year will be coming out this year still." And then there's like other claims saying, "Oh, but you know, other games will be delayed indefinitely," and while that's all fine and good, what confuses me is that we're already I want to say three-quarters through the way of 2020, and we don't know what's next after Paper Mario. So I don't know. It's just very, very, very strange that they haven't even said what their plans originally were, especially when their last few Nintendo Directs do have warnings saying that COVID will delay initial releases. If that's the case, then can we at least get a little taste of what we were supposed to get? A little trailer.
you
I'm
do
sure they
realize
had trailers for the March. Yeah, no, go on.
they say that just to please investors. They say, "Oh, everything's on time." Yeah, they do that to please investors. They said the Switch wasn't going to replace the Wii U, and look what happened with that.
Yeah, I get it, right? But it's just I think what makes it worse is that Nintendo likes to do something that I like to call the waiting game, where they won't announce anything for months and they'll let fans build up their own hype based off of rumors and speculation. And then as soon as they have something to announce, it doesn't live up to fans' expectations, and then that blows up in their faces, you know? Um,
Right, because this happened
and I
twice.
really think it's become yeah, it's happened twice, and it's really become an issue, not just this year, but it was an issue last year too, with that September Direct.
That was more
I
so
don't
the
know.
September
I
Direct not being good, because let me get into just a little bit of history with the Directs. So the last really good
Mhm.
Direct, in my opinion, we got was in June of 2019, which was the E3 Direct. That was a lot of stuff you could ever want from a
Mhm.
Nintendo Direct. New information on Luigi's Mansion 3, Banjo and Smash, Breath of the Wild 2
Mhm.
announcement. Thought it was pretty great. Then we got the September 2019
Yeah.
Direct. All we got is a remake of Xenoblade, which, okay, that's cool, it's a great game and everything, but it's just a remake, and
Mhm.
it was already remade before on the new 3DS. Then
Right.
2020 comes along, we go without a Nintendo Direct for the longest, and then we get a mini. Only new game announced for that is Clubhouse Games, and this is actually a game Nintendo put on their investors list for people to look forward to in
Mhm.
2020. Granted, Clubhouse Games is probably a good game in its own right, but it's not exactly the kind of game you'd think of when it comes to Nintendo. Like, you need those casual games alongside the hardcore games, but I don't know, that was just very weird that they really didn't announce anything in that mini direct. And then we got the two things that happened that were very weird. So we all know Paper Mario was shadow dropped, and
Yeah.
then what they did was they announced a Treehouse stream with Paper Mario and a game from Way
Hmm.
Forward, and this got fans hyped. They were thinking
Very
Way
weird.
Forward.
Especially since, before,
No, they said it after. So what happened is they
yeah,
said Way Forward was going to be there. They were going to show off a game, and everyone thought it could be something using one of Nintendo's IPs. Like, oh boy, is this going to be Wario Land developed by Way Forward? People thought that because Shantae and Wario Land have very
yeah.
similar themes with the pirates, but they it was
Hmm.
Bakugan.
Yeah. Uh, Again, their PR has just been just bad,
It
really
reminds
bad.
me of the Wii U
You
days.
because okay, but this is how tone deaf they are. They should know. The PR team should know that if they say anything thing regarding even the words Nintendo Direct or the words a new game by Way Forward, right? They should know that Nintendo fans, they kept us starving and we're gonna speculate like crazy.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
to follow that up with a tweet saying, "Oh, this is a third party game. Um, this is still a third party game," and building it up for a day, leading to Bakugan out of all things. I wouldn't have even said anything about the Way Forward game. I would have done the Paper Mario thing, and then on the spot I would have talked about Bakugan if you really had to, because at least then there wouldn't have to be a build up for something that people have been memeing about for a while. But yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know what's going on.
yeah, the Bakugan
Uh
thing was really weird, and I'll tell you why. Because the problem with that is, yeah, the PR is terrible, but it
mhm.
really damages the reputation of a game if they do stuff like that, and it's really bad marketing for not just for Nintendo fans, but for the company who's showing off their game because people were upset about it. People were disliking the Bakugan trailer even though there's probably nothing inherently wrong with it. And then this leads into the
Yeah,
recent one which we were talking about, the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase.
yeah.
So we'll get into this. Nintendo announced it at
Hmm.
midnight on the west or the East Coast,
Yeah.
and then what happened is that people were speculating what it is, and then some people are saying, well, what did you expect? It's a partner showcase. Well, the wording was a little bit weird. Partners could mean anything like third party, which it
Yeah,
was, or it could have meant second party partners like Retro Studios, Camelot, HAL
right.
Laboratories, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So it was vague.
and yeah, it was super vague for no reason because we've had Nintendo Directs before, explicitly saying that they're going to focus on third-party titles. I don't know why they would say our development and publishing partners, because it is vague. It like I get it. Some people maybe thought, oh, it's just third party, but some people were even thinking, well, maybe they're showing off second party stuff as well. You know, so that was really really weird the way that they kind of framed that, and then the fact that look, the games that they announced in that partner showcase, there was only about 5 games on the East Coast at least, right?
Or that's
Even if you
just the
were
West.
excited for, oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, Japan
Even
got the
if you
cool
were
stuff.
excited for, yeah, even if you were excited for Shin Megami Tensei, you cannot deny that what they had to show could have been saved for something a little bit meatier.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
even for a third party showcase, where was Bayonetta 3, right? Where was No More Heroes 3? Where are all these big third party games that are coming to the Switch? Does
And
anybody really like was anybody really excited for the WWE game? Did that actually have to be in the direct presentation? That couldn't have been a Twitter announcement,
yeah, and
you
going
know?
into that,
Shin Megami
people were
Shin
disliking the
Megami Tensei,
trailer.
they announced Shin Megami Tensei, which was really niche as a franchise, and I understand that the fifth one in the series is a big deal, but um a lot of the other games that was associated with it just kind of felt like things to pad out the directs, you know? And I'm totally fine with them doing third party focus directs from now on. I think actually that's a smart idea. But this was not the right time to do it. I mean, people are just antsy, waiting to see what Nintendo has for the rest of the year for their first party titles. They have been so quiet about it. And look, I don't care if it's the Mario remakes or if it's another port like Pikmin 3 or 3D World. What worries me is that they've been silent about it for so long. And what also worries me is that they can make a whole direct with WWE as one of the main games that they show off. But they could just drop a Paper Mario trailer on Twitter.
Yeah, that's super weird thinking about it, but going into that direct, I think the idea of a partner showcase isn't bad. It's just the timing was
Yeah.
terrible. I'll use this infamous example as an example. You remember E3 2015 that gave us
Mhm.
Metroid Prime Federation Force? Fans were starved for a new Metroid game. It was like, what,
Yeah.
2007 since they got Metroid Prime 3, which was the last game that was considered truly great in the Metroid franchise at that time. Other M was pretty divisive.
Mhm.
So fans were starved, they were excited, and
Yeah.
then they see Metroid Prime Federation Force, and although the game isn't inherently bad, it's just not what they wanted, and the time to release it couldn't have been worse. Like,
Yeah.
if they
It,
made Prime
it,
4 and released Federation Force after that, I guarantee you it would have never gotten any backlash, and it would have been seen as a cool little
oh yeah.
spin-off.
That's actually a perfect comparison because that was just all based on timing. And Nintendo was pretty tone deaf at that time as well, considering the decision that they made with that game. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just I I don't know why their PR is so bad, you know. I don't know why they've been being so vague on their announcements with the third party direct that we had. If it's just going to be third party titles, just straight out say it. Don't say development and publishing partners, you know? Um, that just confuses people. Uh, they've done it before. I don't understand why they can't just say we're announcing third party games. Like they've done it so many times before. Um, and then what boggles my mind is that, you know, if we truly are, getting a few games this year, wouldn't it be wise to learn about them now? We only have a few more months left in 2020. We only have September, October, November, and December,
Oh, thank God.
right?
But that's beyond the point.
Yeah, but we only have a few more months left. We have 4 more months. We're in August already. If we don't hear anything in August, which I kind of think we will, I'm not. I think maybe this week, but I could be wrong. If we don't hear anything by the end of August, then truly I'm really, really concerned for Nintendo because they have to have at least one thing for the holidays. They can't just rely on Animal Crossing the whole year. There
And
has
going,
to be
yeah.
something that, yeah, there has to be something that was already ready for the end of the year that they were working on.
And going into two topics like that, yeah, they probably do have at least one title for the rest of the year, but I don't think Nintendo should feel pressured to release something if it's at the expense of the employees, because a lot of companies do that. They're ridiculed for it. The crunch time is considered really bad, and we're in the middle of a
Oh, for
pandemic,
sure.
so the health and safety of the employees matters more. Case in point, and I think
For
everyone
sure.
can agree with that.
My,
We're just saying that they should
yeah,
announce something, and they probably do have something, because they have released a few games
yeah.
this year.
But here's my thing, right? If they don't have anything for this year, then just say it.
Yeah,
They keep
exactly.
saying that they do have more games. They keep saying that they do have more games for the end of the year, and I know that you keep saying that it's just for them to please the investors, but let's be real here. Their investors meeting is in a few days,
Yeah,
actually,
August
August
6th.
6th. Yeah. So they kind of, if you think about it, if they don't have anything for the rest of the year, they kind of lie to their investors just to save face. I don't think that's the case. I think they have a few things, but it's just very weird that they're waiting till now to talk about it. You know, we didn't need a release date or anything. They could have just said, "Up, this game is coming." You know, um, I don't know. I really don't know, man. It's
Yeah.
it's so strange, and it's been, to be honest with you, it's been building up since last year.
Yeah,
The
they had
terrible
yeah.
PR,
The
um,
September Direct?
Super, yeah, Super Smash Brothers, and how they handle that with
Fighter
the
Pass
the
5.
hype and the speculation. Yeah, it's the exact same thing, but with Nintendo right now,
To be
right?
fair
The
though,
whole company.
I would say that out of the Fighter Pass, Byleth was the only one that was a big disappointment because of the shaky reputation of the Fire Emblem series in Smash Bros. But other than that, I think
I
it's been
get it,
fine.
I get it, but what I'm trying to say is that they follow the same model where they stay silent, they keep things close to their chest, they let fans speculate on their own, get their hopes up, and then when they announce it, you never know what you're going to get. You never know if fans are going to be pleasantly surprised or if they're going to have their expectations tempered. You know,
Yeah,
there's no, there's no in between, and it's costing Nintendo. Like those dislikes on that Nintendo Direct third party showcase, that wasn't just for nothing. It wasn't just people being salty. You
yeah,
know,
it's just the tone deaf
it was
nature of
just,
what's going on.
it was just, yeah, it's just kind of like, really, really, guys, like you guys have, you guys are gonna make a direct on third party titles, and you're not gonna say anything about your first party titles when you clearly said, we have games for the rest of the year.
I
You
think one of
know,
the funniest things I
and
seen
if
was
they really,
Nintendo, or
yeah,
the Switch has
no,
games
go on.
things from the Game Awards. Someone wrote Switch has games, but they're
Oh
not
yeah.
ours. And that sums it up pretty well. And another thing, the Game Awards was
Yeah,
super tone deaf. They said stay tuned, and then what? Just Bravely Default 2?
yeah, I don't know. Um,
I think Nintendo just doesn't.
I
I think they just don't get the Western audience because while it's cool to
mhm,
have a variety of different games, and I do think more stuff
right,
should be localized, I don't think they
yeah,
realize that when people think Nintendo in the West, they think of the Marios, the Zeldas, Donkey Kong, Wario, Kirby, you know,
yeah.
Pikmin, Splatoon, stuff like that. They don't exactly think of the
Even
niche type of JRPGs, which they're good games, sure, but they're
right,
not exactly the type of games that Nintendo fans
they don't.
are ravenous for.
They're not. You know, they don't have. I don't want to say mass appeal, but they don't have like large gatherings behind them. They have strong gatherings, but it's more. I'm looking at this as more from a business perspective, because if we really don't have anything this year, like let's say we have a niche franchise this year that Nintendo's really trying to push, right? Sure, it'll sell well for the franchise, but in terms of Nintendo Switch sales, or games that they could be selling, like, a Mario title, or any of their heavy hitters, it's not going to make bank, and it's not going to please their investors, especially since their holiday seasons have been pretty big recently. I will argue that they might push for a new Animal Crossing update for the holiday season and try to maybe do like a bundle pack for the holidays, which may work.
So like a
But
gold
I
edition?
don't know. Yeah, but it just seems really lazy, in my opinion. I feel like that's what they're gonna do, because if these rumored Mario remakes are happening, I started thinking that maybe they were the holiday release, but I don't see it anymore. You know, I don't think it has um the kind of pow that the holiday needs. And we don't even know if they're ports, if they're actual remakes. Like, who knows how lazy these ports are, or these remasters are,
Or how good
you
they could
know?
be. So
Um,
we'll get into that. But
or
going
how
on from
good
what
they
you were
can
saying,
get.
I don't think they'll do an Animal Crossing bundle pack for the Christmas season. That just doesn't make sense because these updates are quote unquote free. They really
Well,
should have released the game finished because it has less content than New Leaf, but talking about that is like opening a
yeah,
whole can of worms. That's really a video on its own. So in short, Nintendo, just finish your
right,
games. These updates aren't cool. But going into that, I'm going to
yeah,
compare 2020 to two other years which are considered the worst in Nintendo's history, at least recently.
hmm,
2015 and
yeah,
2016. We know 2015 is considered infamous, and it's become even more infamous because Scott the Woz made a video on Chibi Robo Ziplash, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, and Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. Now, those are bad games, sure, but there were still good games in 2015. I know they're not your cup of tea, but we got Splatoon. First big new Nintendo IP since Pikmin, has done exceptionally well and did well on the Wii U despite it not selling very well as a console. Then we got Yoshi's Woolly World, a great Yoshi game, great 2D platformer, really fun game. We got Mario Maker, which was one of the biggest games on the Wii U ever, definitely one of my favorites. And
hmm,
then we got Xenoblade Chronicles X, which was a very big game. Like I said, the JRPGs aren't really my cup of tea, but I'm not going to deny the significance of that. And also, we got other smaller stuff on the 3DS, like Puzzles and Dragons Mario Edition, which was a really underrated game, very fun. And we got the remake of Xenoblade Chronicles
hmm.
on the 3DS, new 3DS.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I can care less about 2015. I thought it was horrible, horrible, but I understand where you're coming from. We did have games that year. Whether or not them is another story, but yeah, at least we knew what was happening that year. Uh, I think it's a little hard to judge it next to 2020 though, just because of what is going on. And my thing is more, um, you know, is is the current situation impacting their ability to interact with fans more? And my opinion is no, because I feel like this has been going on since last year. And I don't know if it's just me, but I think maybe it has to do with their change in leadership at Nintendo.
Oh, that's probably a big part of it. But then going into 2016, which is
Yeah.
considered one of Nintendo's worst years as well, this year was a rough one. I'm not going to
Mhm.
deny that. What did we get that year? We got
Yeah.
Star Fox Zero, we got Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, which both of those games were considered either bad or
Mhm.
underwhelming. The best game on the Wii U that year was Mario and
Yeah.
Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. So Wii U, I think, was pretty much dead that year, and it was just pretty much like a zombie at that point. They had to release games just to say, oh, well,
Yeah.
there's some incentive to buy a Wii U, but no. That whole year was pretty much waiting for
Hmm.
news on the NX. But at least the 3DS games were really good because we got, let me think of,
Yeah.
yeah, we got Kirby Planet Robobot, which is the best Kirby game of all time. Love that game so much. And we got Pokemon Sun and Moon. I really don't know why people don't like those games other than being a little bit easy because really they changed up the Pokemon formula quite a bit and they're a great time. And of course they have every Pokemon. So, and they had the NES Classic which was pretty
Yeah.
cool too. So overall I would say 2016 was pretty bad for the Wii U, but there was one thing that
Yeah.
2016 had that 2020 didn't, and that's stuff to look forward to. There was always something to look forward to. We were
Yeah.
never left in the dark. We knew the NX was coming. It was just a matter
Hmm.
of when it was going to be revealed or not. I guess you could say that's pretty bad
Yeah.
marketing because the wait for it was torture. But we had games to
Yeah.
look forward to. We had Pokemon to look forward
There's
to. We had
there's
Kirby to
yeah.
look forward to. We had Paper Mario to look forward to this year, but I mean, that's it. That ship has sailed. It already came out. We were literally left in the dark
My
for the first time ever.
Yeah, my thing is that I'd like to bring up something that Arlo pointed out, and I forgot what video he was talking about this with, but um, he was talking about just the state of Nintendo Directs and how they act like, they're not able to put a video together or edit a video together, you know. It just kind of blows my mind that we can't at least get look. Metroid Prime 4, they didn't even start development yet, and they announced that it was coming. We didn't get a release date, we didn't get anything. We just got it's coming soon. Look forward to this in the future. We haven't even gotten that this year, you know? We're not asking for games to be even we want to just be left out of the dark. We just don't know nothing, and it's just really concerning looking at the company itself. Like you and I, we're being critical here, but we're actually just very concerned about the company itself.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
just want it to get better, and we just want them to be transparent with their fans. I think the most transparent I saw Nintendo recently was when they had to start Metroid Prime 4 all over again, and they made that whole video.
Yeah, and
Um,
keeping the fans
and
updated is
I
a good
thought,
thing.
it was, yeah, and it was disappointing, but you know what? They actually let us know what was going on,
And the fans are, yeah,
and
disappointed, but
I
they're
would
okay with it.
greatly, yeah, I would greatly appreciate that over silence,
Yeah, exactly.
what we've been having recently.
Now,
And I don't know, I don't know how bad, yeah, go on.
I don't know if it's to please investors or not, but they really got to say something because this isn't cool for the fans or really anyone for that matter. And investors are going to catch on because, like you said, they can't rely on Animal Crossing the whole year. I think the ship has kind of sailed for that game, but that's what happens when you release a game
And
with not
let's,
enough content to reel people in. But I thought it was a good game.
yeah,
I
and
thought it was a good
but
spring title. It couldn't have come out at a
yeah,
perfect time because when it released,
oh
I'm
yeah,
really glad it released when it did because that's when everything just started. But I mean, the ship has
yeah,
kind of sailed for that a little
you
bit, and
know,
regardless if they update it, like Arlo said, the game is
yeah,
really settled for a lot of people.
yeah. A lot of people I know who used to play it a lot are just kind of done with it.
Let's see
Yeah.
what Nintendo had this year and
No,
what's announced. So, going into that, we had Animal Crossing at the beginning of the year, which I won't deny is a huge game. Probably going to be the best selling Switch game, in my opinion.
mhm,
Then we got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Then we got, I believe, Clubhouse Games. And then Paper Mario.
yeah.
But other than that, there's really nothing. We got, really, Xenoblade's a remake. And then we had Clubhouse Games, which is public domain games in one collection. That's not really a big game. So going into what we expect
Yeah,
from 2020, we do expect a few announcements at least because this can't go on forever. And like you said, the investors meeting is going to happen. So they really got to say something about it. Now,
yeah,
I'm just going to go out and say it. I do think 2020 will be one of Nintendo's worst years, but that's okay considering the circumstances. What I don't understand is that they don't
yeah.
announce stuff,
It's
but
just it's just a little aggravating that um
yeah,
that they've just been so silent on just their plans for the future and just their current situation. I just, you know, it would be nice to have like a Metroid Prime 4 style video where they say that, um
a certain game is coming.
either, games certain games won't be coming this year. I'd rather them say that so I could temper my expectations because I'm over here thinking they got 4 months left. Either they got nothing or they got like one measly little thing to look forward to.
But going into
And it's
that,
not fun speculating about that. Yeah.
I think there will be at least one more game this year. Like I said, this is probably going to be a really light year where not much is released. I think we're going to get the 3D Mario
Yeah.
collection at the very least because those are either just remakes or remasters, if you want to
Yeah.
call them that, of older games. And the Mario 35th
Oh, if
anniversary is
they're
this year.
if
So I'm sure that's going to happen. It's just a matter of when these things are going to be announced. And also, I think
if
that
they're
we
yeah,
will
go
see a
on.
few more ports. Pikmin 3 and 3D World, those are the big games that need to be
Mhm.
ported. Like I said, it kind of
Yeah.
sucks we get excited over ports because Nintendo, I mean, this was even before.
Yeah.
2018 was literally just ports and Smash Bros. But I really would like to see a Pikmin collection, but just predicting it, I think we'll see Pikmin 3 get ported along with 3D World with maybe a little bit of extra content. But then I'll get into other
I'm gonna
stuff.
yeah.
I do think
Hmm.
that Mario Kart 9 will be next year. that was probably going to be the big holiday title this year, but it got pushed back because of what's
Hmm.
going on right now.
Right.
But
Yeah, I mean, I even think that the Pikmin 3 and 3D World Deluxe ports are not coming this year.
so literally
Um,
just a 3D Mario collection.
I think they're just gonna push for the 3D Mario collection and for Animal Crossing. I don't think I think honestly, 3D World's gonna take the new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe spot in January, and then Pikmin 3 might be the spring title if this keeps going on, and then maybe summer will be Mario Kart 9, but um I don't know because the 3D Mario remasters are a very tricky subject because I think at this point everyone can't deny that there are some truth to these rumors. Um, but what I think would be this is less on like how do we know if they're not going to just drop it on Twitter, shadow drop it?
Yeah,
How do
exactly.
we know if it's not going to be in a Nintendo Direct?
We don't
And
know
then
when this
like
is happening.
also, are we and then we've been kept in the dark so long for these remasters or remakes that we don't even know if they're just straight up enhanced ports or if they're true remakes. And I'll be honest with you, man, if they're just enhanced ports, if it's just like an HD widescreen version of Mario 64 with the same graphics and everything, people are not gonna be happy. I mean, they'll be happy that Sunshine's on the Switch, but everyone's expecting this to be a remake, and I think that's more on leaks and rumors' fault for tempering fan expectations, but it's also Nintendo's fault for sitting on it for so long.
And
And I
also,
understand the yeah, go
Nintendo's
on.
one of the biggest companies. If someone like Toys for Bob could remake the Crash and Spyro games, then Nintendo can certainly do it.
Right.
So really, I think they'll probably be remakes because it would be lazy if they weren't. But if they were gonna
And
do a
then
sort of
and then
collection,
my thing,
if they're gonna do a sort of
yeah.
collection like
Well,
Kirby's Dream Collection on the Wii, they would have to include literally everything. They'd have to include the 2D Mario games.
yeah.
They would have to include the 3D Mario games. And you know what? If it were that, it'd be fine. But if it were just the three 3D Mario games that were just literally ports and that's it, that wouldn't be cool. But I don't think it's going
That
to be that. I think it's
yeah,
just going to be remakes. So there might be that to
I
look forward
think
to. And if they're all
there's
remade, then I would say
there's
that's
two
more than enough
yeah.
to look forward to for the rest of the year.
There's two situations here. One, the reason that they've been keeping it close to their chest is because it is a remake and it takes a little bit more time. Or two, they are ports, but they've just been waiting to announce it at the right time so that they could have that PR push for I think the rumored release date was September. Um, which man, I don't know. If they're just ports, I don't understand why they just didn't just announce it in the first place.
Yeah, Nintendo's
Well, I
been
guess
super weird
you
about
know,
that.
I don't- yeah, I hope that they're remakes. I kind of doubt it because Miyamoto's always said that there will never be 3D Mario remakes. I mean, things have changed before, but from the looks of what I've read online from rumors, don't be surprised and temper your expectations because they might just be ports.
I don't think they will be. I think they're going to be remakes because I mean, it's Nintendo's a big company. They can certainly do that. And these are games that have been fan requested to be
They
remade for a
could.
long time. So, from what I've heard, it's kind of like Super Mario
And
3D All-Stars, meaning that they are remakes.
I wanted to bring this up really quickly before we finish off. I was talking to you the other day on how Grezzo seems like the de facto company that does some big Nintendo remakes for Nintendo, right? They've done the Luigi's Mansion 3DS remake. They've done the Link's Awakening remake on the Switch. They don't really have anything listed for 2020 yet. And recently, they've been doing a game every year. That's not to say that they won't change it up. I'm just noticing the pattern. I was speculating with you that if Nintendo EPD is working on Odyssey 2, then they would need to outsource the remake to somebody else.
Yeah, they did that with
And
Luigi's
Grezzo
Mansion.
has been known to do right, and Grezzo has been known to do really good remakes. So my speculation is that Grezzo is working on the 3D Mario remakes, right? And they're remaking 64 and Sunshine with maybe upres textures and stuff for the Galaxy games because really that's all they need.
Don't forget about Galaxy.
But I don't. Oh yeah, Galaxy as well. But you know, I don't know. I don't want to get my expectations up because this whole year Nintendo's just kind of thrown it out the water. You know,
I mean,
especially that third party that was just
it's just their PR
ugh.
because their games, for the most part, have been good. Animal Crossing, I wish it had more
Yeah.
content, but it was good. Paper Mario is not my cup of tea, but it's getting good reviews. So, overall,
I don't know.
I would say that
I hope. Yeah.
we at least have the 3D Mario remakes to look forward to. And I do think we'll get maybe a port or two, but overall, I think it will be a lighter
Maybe.
year. And I think the big
Yeah.
stuff's coming next year.
I hope so because I don't know if Nintendo can withstand like another year of silence like that again.
But
You
yeah,
know. Um,
I think this
I don't
about
know.
wraps it up. I think that, yeah, we covered everything. We covered how Nintendo has been really silent this year. The PR has been very weird. We compared it to some
Yeah.
other years that were considered the worst. And overall,
Right.
I think 2020 will be a bad year for Nintendo games, but at
Hmm.
least there's kind of a reason for that. And I don't think we're going to get that many games this year. But the good news about all this
Yeah.
is that I think next year should be a lot better. And I think at the very least we'll get the 3D Mario Remake Collection this year because 2020 is Mario's 35th anniversary. They have the Lego Mario set. They have the Super Mario Celebration Monopoly set. They have Mario Jenga. It's only a matter of time until they announce a game.
It has to be this month. If not, then I really don't know what to say.
But yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm Demeech.
And I'm Ty the Guy.
And keep calm and Dada on.